Okay, then. Now let's look at the next story. Let us state that the collapse of family structures, driven predominantly by modernization, increased individualism, and shifting cultural norms, are like cancer, which is a disease with abnormal cells dividing uncontrollably. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, General Christopher Musa, has sued for regional cooperation in the Sahel region to tackle criminal elements, wipe them out, if only to arrest the collapse of family structures and moral decay sweeping through communities worldwide. Let's share this story by our man Lupa Asom. Let's go there.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, did not mince words.
Look for the bad guys and take them out, and that's the only thing we need to do.
Addressing participants at the closing of exercise Haskibu in Jaji, Kaduna, he declared that peace will only come when security forces identify and neutralize those destabilizing Nigeria and the wider Sahel region. The Sahel region faces persistent security challenges driven by terrorism, armed banditry, and intercommunal conflicts that have spilled across borders. These crises have fueled the proliferation of small arms, increased displacement of people, and disrupted livelihoods in Nigeria's northern states. The instability has strained Nigeria's security forces, diverting security resources to counter-insurgency operations and regional peacekeeping. It has also worsened food insecurity and slowed economic development, especially in border communities.
Because it is obvious that the security forces cannot win this battle alone without the citizens also contributing. Because the terrorists, the bandits, the criminals are living within the communities. And if the communities embrace them, you will give them a free haven. But if you deny them the ability to stay, they will not be able to stand. Ours is to look for the bad guys and take them out. And that's the only thing we need to do. And that's the only thing we must do. And that's the only way we can have peace.
General Musa stressed that insecurity in the Sahel is worsening, with insurgents exploiting porous borders. He said unilateral responses will fail and called for stronger regional cooperation, citing the multinational joint task force in Chad as an effective example.
If we're able to embrace ourselves as Nigerians first, and then as Africans, because we have our allied friends here, that's the only way we can defeat all acts of criminality. We have seen that the Sahel is getting very hot. And it is by uniting all our efforts, uniting all the equipment we have, uniting our abilities, then we can defeat these enemies. Because the enemies we're dealing with do not respect borders. So if we hold on to our borders alone, then you will continue to suffer alone without the others. But if we unite and work across, it makes it better. The multinational joint task force in Chad is showing us that example. That as brothers, as Africans, we must remember that we are brothers, we are family. If they blindfold you and drop you in any African country, in any African village, you will feel at home because you feel like it is your village. There is no difference.
He also warned security personnel to remain professional, resist corruption and partisan influence, and translate the outcome of the training into solution-driven actions.
And I think the most important aspect we must remember, that what we have done mostly is the theory aspect. Now when you live here, the reality is going to come on after you. What are you going to do what we have read here? Because if what you have read here you cannot implement when you go out, then the whole essence has failed. And so that is very, very critical. And as life continues to evolve, we must also evolve with time. Because things are changing. Some years back we didn't have any challenge of social media. Now social media is one of the greatest challenges we're having. AI is coming on the stream. Artificial intelligence. They can mimic everybody, they can make you anything, they can do anything. So we must be up and doing, upgrade our own standards, and follow up to what's going on with the trends so that we can be able to address and be on top of the game. I trust that the experience gained here will enrich your professional conduct in both operational and strategic assignments in future.
Our special guest of honor, sir, Exercise Haskibu 2025 has achieved all its mandates and the outcome we hope for. It is now up to the participants to go back to the field and actualize what they've learned. And we believe that these participants are quite promising and will deliver on our expectations.
Exercise Housekeeping has now closed in Jaji, but the Chief of Defense Staff insists the real task lies ahead, ensuring that lessons from trainings are converted into decisive actions against criminality and insurgency. Lupe Asom, TVC News, Jaji.
Yeah, how do you weigh in?
Yeah, what the Chief of Defense Staff is saying is very true. You know, because we've lost moral values, we've lost that family as
that bond,
that unit. You know, before, when we still have the family unit intact, the moral values that that is expected of everybody is quite high, and then the home, the discipline comes from the home. You don't get involved in crime, and your parents will be embarrassed for you. Now you will see parents that encourage their kids to do Yahoo, and they celebrate them when they bring illicit money home. You will see
are you surprised you have Yahoo Mothers Association?
That's what I'm saying. So you see a situation where people do not... Before in this country, if somebody gets involved in crime and you are sentenced and you are sent to jail, the family, the entire family see it as a blot on the image of the family.
Yeah.
It's not only that person that's sent to jail that will be so affected. Every other members of that family unit will be affected. But because we have lost that moral values, we don't have control over the young people, so they get more involved in crime. That's what the Chief of Defense is trying to say. That we have to go back to a situation where we instill discipline and be able to make sure that that discipline comes from that family unit, so that we can control our young people and dissuade them from getting into crime. And then there must also be cooperation within the Sahel region, within the entire West African sub-region. And we've said that several times on this platform. Part of the problems we're having with terrorism organization is that we allow them to move from one state to another. When they have too much problem within a particular state, they will move to another state. And that is why people can move from Nigeria to Cameroon to Niger. And if you see most of the people involved in banditry, a lot of them came from as far as Mali, Equatorial Guinea, Burkina Faso. So there is this movement that is so easy for them. So, but if there is greater cooperation between the states within the Sahel region or within the West Africa sub-region, then if there is a collaboration, we'll be able to fight them at the same time, so that it will not be easy for them to move from one country to another, and then to make it easier for them. That's what which I think is a very reasonable suggestion.
Because it provokes the question: where did we drop the ball? If you understand me.
It's difficult to say that we dropped the ball, but I also must say that we were not decisive enough in snuffing out the threat posed by Boko Haram as well as banditry. We treated them with kid gloves.
Kid gloves, yeah.
If we had treated Boko Haram the way the Algerian armed forces treated the Muslim Brotherhood, crushed them completely, we won't have had this problem.
They're even stronger because they also have political affiliations and they were controlling more people.
So, but we just didn't have the political will to deal decisively with these people. Now, banditry, I'm sorry, has come to stay.
Yeah.
These boys have smelled blood and they are not ready to give up at this stage. They know that there's a lot of money that they can make from banditry. They are prepared to risk their lives. You need to see some of the interviews of these popular bandits in northern Nigeria, usually done in Hausa. If you understand Hausa, you see that they are not afraid to die. Their own attitude, and they are not Muslims and they are not Christians. A lot of them are animists. So they are not afraid to die. So you can't even, they believe that, look, whatever they can make, They should make it because their lives may not be long. So they have that attitude. We should have been very decisive. We should have committed everything that we needed to it. And I suggested in the past that, look, let's know that we are in a war.
Yeah, in
block
war situation.
The contiguous states, block all of the routes through which these guys can escape, declare a total war. If you say, okay, 1 whole month we want to face banditry.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, especially in the Northwest, we will deal with them, but we are not prepared to do it.
Of course.
Maybe because the political leaders too are not ready. They are not ready. So while...
So it's having to do with the choices, even if wrong, we are making.
Look, if today we declare that, yes, we are at war,
yeah,
and we are ready for an all-out war that will last 2 months,
okay,
with these guys, and we deploy all the resources,
we can call the bluff.
We can call them, but we know where they are.
To another.
But what do? The piecemeal approach. Okay, let's bomb them at this point. Then later on, we'll go to another state to bomb. And those states are linked together. All of the states, the old northwestern states, you know, the old northwestern states, all the way from Niger to Kebbi in the northwest, they are linked. Bandits can move from Niger State on bikes to Kebbi. And they understand those forests and cattle routes. They understand. Because these bandits used to be cattle rearers.
Yeah.
They understand the cattle routes. So let's not kid ourselves. This war is something that we have to take seriously. I appreciate the chief of, chief of defense staff.
Yeah.
He's saying, look, in our counter-insurgency operations, we have to be ready to adapt. Things are changing, so we too must change with the times. And it's saying that in those days, there wasn't even social media. It's true. But today, the enemy uses social media a lot.
Yeah.
Once they make some gains, they're on social media. Yeah. So propaganda, they can expand propaganda much more now than that time. And it's also saying that, look, we need to work together. The army cannot win this war alone. So they need the civil populace, they need the people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to help them, you provide information for them
especially,
that is actionable.
Especially when it is established that in some areas, the terrorists are in sync with the civil population.
Yeah, the thing is, when they say they are in sync, okay, terrorists have taken over an area. If you work against them, they will take your life. In some places, they've even become the imam. In those days, they are the ones who lead prayers in some places. They can decide to take your life if they believe that your own Islamic practices is different from their own. That's what the Mahmudawas are doing. Yes. They are leading prayers. And these are terrorists. They determine who can fell a tree. You pay them before you can access your farms. Lakurawa, Mahmudawa, that's what they are doing. And they are all terrorists. Terrorists that did not even originate from Nigeria. The Lakurawas came all the way from Mali. But today they are terrorizing our people in Kebbi, in Sokoto. So he's saying, look, individualism cannot work. And it mentioned the gains being made from the multinational joint task force because countries are working together. Okay. So he's saying right now we need to continue to work together. And I believe him that, look, the collapse of family values.
Sharing intelligence too.
Yeah. You know, the collapse of family values has led to indiscipline, has worsened crime rates, and then drug use.
Okay.
The rate at which young people are using drugs, you know that we are going to find it difficult to deal with crime. Because once they've taken these drugs,
not just drugs,
they are ready to kill.
Substances,
they are ready to kill without looking back.
Dangerous substances.
So that's my take.
Okay, all right. Our next story is here. You know, it is gratifying to know that...
No, don't.